In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to hand you a tool that took me nearly 30 years and almost $1 billion in real estate transactions, consulting, development, and building to master, and it's completely free. This tool is going to save you $10,000, $50,000, maybe even $250,000. It could save you that money, or it could make you that money on your next land deal. Or it could help you by spotting hidden value that everybody else misses. I'm talking about GIS, Geographic Information Systems. It's worth millions to develop, but your county, you see, has already built it for you. People just don't know about it. It's a developer pro tool, and I'm going to show you how to use it today. All you have to know is where to find it and then how to use it, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm Don Lesky. I've built, bought, and sold thousands of homes, building lots, developments, custom built, real estate consulted over 3 decades. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot these 3 biggest land killers before you write an earnest money deposit check. Now, before I show you the tool, you need to know what you're looking for. There are 3 deal breakers that kill more land purchases than anything else. So jump in front of a computer and we're going to go through this together. If you have to, watch the video and then watch it again when you get back home or when you're in front of a computer, because I want you to take this information. It's actionable. You can take this and use it today. So here we go. Number 1, access problems. No legal access to the property. You just bought a landlocked piece of dirt that you cannot build on. Number 2, wetlands and critical area buffers. That beautiful wooded lot, half of it might be completely unbuildable wetland with a 50, 100, even a 300-foot buffer. Your building envelope that you're going to build your brand new custom home, it just disappeared. Number 3, critical slopes. Basically, steep terrain means expensive grading, retaining walls, and engineered foundations. A $300,000 home build just became a $450,000 project. And if you miss any one of these, you're either going to walk away from your deposit or you're stuck with a piece of property that you just can't develop. But here's the good news. You can identify all 3 of these items in under 60 seconds once you know how to use GIS. So let me show you how to do it. I'm really excited to show this to you guys. This is like the number 1 tool that I use. In fact, it's so good, it's so valuable, it almost should be illegal, but not. So go to Google or Safari and type in your city, state, county, and the letters GIS. So I'm just going to type in Pierce County GIS. Auto-populates. You can see the purple link. I go here often. So there's a bunch of different ones. You want to end up getting to the map or application. You might have to click 2 or 3 times to find it. There's different links here. I'm going to go to Public GIS. Click around until you find this map. This is where the magic is. This is where big problems are fixed and money is made. So go to the background map at the top. Click on aerial. There's a bunch of different maps. We'll talk about these in further videos. Click on the aerial and then zoom in. You can use the map feature to just zoom right in, or you can go to the search bar, type in the address or parcel that you want to investigate. So I'm going to show you some access issues. And most of the access issues are in the rural and suburban areas because they're underdeveloped. The urban typically is higher density, and a lot of the access issues have been fixed, but not all of them. On the outliers, you're still going to find a lot of access issues. So now that you've zoomed into an area or parcel that you want to look at, go to the data menu, and it's basically, it looks like a piece of paper stacked. So these are layers, and you want to turn on the parcel layer, turn everything off, because we're just talking about access and you need to see the parcel lines. in a full feasibility, you will check every single box and investigate all of them. But for now, we're just going to do parcel layers. So I'm going to minimize that. And we're going to zoom in. And as you zoom in, boom, all the colored parcel lines pop up. And in my application, they're kind of a pinkish salmon colored. You can see all these parcels. Look at the different shapes. It's really amazing, the different shapes. Some are big squares. Some are strange shaped polygons. Some are really tiny and skinny. Today, we're just going to focus on the roads. So I'm going to start here at Highway 7. So that's a state highway. And this road, 352nd, actually let's go up to 340th, is a collector road, or sometimes called an arterial. So it collects all the traffic and it provides local access to connecting to the state highway here. Now here's the important part. If you have land or you're going to purchase a property, let's say one of these parcels here, it's adjacent to the public road. So you automatically have access. No issue. What we're looking for is properties that are not on a main road, which means they need access and they don't have access to a main road unless it's recorded on title. Now, before we jump there, I want you to notice that the public road looks like it's a long, skinny parcel. If you click on it, nothing happens because it's a public right-of-way. Notice how much larger the state highway is here. Now I'm going to go down to the measuring tool. You can do this on yours. Hopefully you're at your computer, and if not, you can do this with me later. Watch the video again. So the state highways are typically around 100 feet or so. So that's 100 foot in width, and the side collector road is about 60 feet approximately. So, and you notice that the road section itself is much less. The improved road section, let's see, the improved paved section is only about 30 feet wide. So the difference is what we call unimproved right-of-way. Unimproved right-of-way. So just because it looks like the road is only so wide, the state, if it's a state road, or the county, if it's a county road, can further improve that land. So if you're buying a house like this house, you say, oh, I've got a great front yard and your fence line's right here. That's not your property. Your property line is actually up here, about 10 feet, 20 feet in. So this could be developed in the future with no notice, and you just lost your front yard or a big chunk of it. So just something to be aware of. And notice this little property jog right here. We'll talk more about the alignments later. Okay, so back to access. This is real important. I'm going to show you guys how to fix problems, avoid them, and make some serious money on landlocked property. Obviously, property that's landlocked is near worthless because you can't get to it. You can't even walk on it. Let's take this parcel for an example. 1, 2, 3, 3 parcels in, 4 parcels in. Now, it looks like there's homes here already built. So these people probably have legal access. And if you look all around, there's only one road to the north and then the state highway to the west. So they're like the 4th parcel in. You can see structures and you can see remnants of some kind of access here and here. They probably have access with this private road up front. So this is private property. It's on this person's parcel. It's squarely within the boundary of his land. So that means this person owns this access. They probably owned all of these parcels 50, 100 years ago. They subdivided the land, and then their family or them maybe broke them off over the years and sold them. And so to sell the property, they granted an easement so that this property parcel owner owns this road, but then he has legal access via a written agreement recorded on the title description and referenced in the legal description, so you can see that they have rights to this strip of land or to that road. And then this person tacks on rights, if they're granted, to an easement on their land and then an easement on their land. So this person may have multiple easements to get to that property. Easements run with land. They're recorded on title. They run with the land forever. So once you have it, you have it. We can get into easements later. If this person owns this parcel, the easement's extinguished because you can't grant an easement to yourself. So it's just automatically your property. So this property is listed on the MLS for sale. What you do is you look at the legal description and you pull up the title report. Now, the real estate broker typically has the title report already when they list the property. So you just email the broker, say, give me the title report. He emails it to you, and then you read it. A quick look when you're doing a desktop analysis is you click on the parcel, you go to the assessor treasurer link, and in the title description, the tax description, when you read it, it's hard to read. This is a meets and bounds type of description, but it should say something like that. Tog, wa. That means together, this property together with easement. That means easement. And then it describes the section, and you can pull up the map to get the detailed information, and that's recorded is what that means. It's got a recorded easement. Verify with your title report and your title examiner. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Now let's find a piece of property that's landlocked. If you're buying property, you don't want to buy something that's landlocked unless you're an investor. This is where you can make big money, guys. I'm telling you, I've done this. It almost seems illegal, but it's not. So like this, take this property right here. This is a nice big chunk. You see all the trees here? This is farmland. You can see how a tractor's been here and they've been mowing or cultivating that land, and then this is all treed. This property is untouched. So I have a suspicion that this is probably landlocked property. And here's the thing. You can buy landlocked property for pennies on the dollar, find the easement, make an agreement with the neighbor, get the easement, and you could buy it. Let's see how big this property is. Just give you an example. All right, so we got 41 acres. The land value's $400,000. So it probably has some timber value as long as it's not wetland. We'll turn on the wetland layers later. But oftentimes you can get landlocked property for way less than the assessed value. So this is basically $10,000 an acre. So 40 acres, that's $10,000 per acre. That's cheap. I've bought land at less than $5,000 an acre, $2,500 an acre. You can get an easement, buy it from your neighbor for $10,000. This property will be worth at least the tax assessed value of $400,000. You can easily double your money. So you can buy this for $5,000 an acre, $200,000 because it's landlocked. It has timber value, but you can't even get a logging truck on here. Buy it for $200,000, get your easement, and you can get an easement during feasibility before you close. Talk to this neighbor, offer him $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to give you legal rights. Don't pay him, just get an agreement with him, solidify it during your feasibility, but you don't pay him until you close. And then you close on the land for $200,000. You paid on $20,000 for the easement. Now you have a $400,000 piece of property that you paid $200,000. You made almost $250,000 on this lot right here. That's just a small example. So if I click around and go through, I'm not going to do it right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on every single parcel to confirm that they don't own any of these parcels. And then I'll dig into the legal description and the title report to make sure that they don't have an easement anywhere around that property. And then that tells me this land is landlocked. And then, of course, you turn on environmental. You look at different things, which I talk about in other videos. And you can see in my Feasibility First book, I talk about land feasibility. So you'll want to do a full feasibility before you close, and if it passes, you've got green lights, close on the property, get your easement first, and then flip it. You can do all of that in about 90 days. Just depends on how. So this guy might not sell you an easement. So you might have to go to this neighbor right here, which means you're going to have to cut through this corner and go up, or maybe cut through in his road, and maybe he doesn't want that. Okay, well, maybe talk to this neighbor directly to the south. He's already got two roads going into connecting to your land, or real close to it. He's farming here, he's mowing. You can see all the tractor marks. This person might just give you an easement, especially there's no home there, you're not hurting anything. Maybe offer to improve his land. Maybe say, hey, I'll help you with some fencing. Maybe I'll mow your lawn for a couple years, help you with the cultivation. And if not him, maybe this person right here. And maybe not that person, maybe this person right here. But there's a corner. You can't really get to it from that corner. It needs to be a minimum width of like 15 feet based on your county regulations. I've clicked on all these parcels. I'm not going to show you to waste your time. This property is landlocked. You either want to avoid that, or if you're an investor, that's what you're looking for. Or if you're a landowner, you want to sell this property in the future. Now you know, and now you can go through, talk to the neighbors, get access, purchase it, do some sweat equity, build a fence to get that access, and then you list your property and you get every cent of what your land is worth versus giving it away for pennies on the dollar. So that's a big one. I hope you guys learned something there. Now I'm going to show you, let's look at wetlands. So looking at this property here, this blue area, this is obviously a wetland area. There's other things besides wetlands. So there's standing water. Standing water is a pond or a lake, which is different than wetlands. So this is a wet area, but a wetland is different than a pond or a lake. See lake trout? And then you can see the streams coming in. So you're going to go to your reference layer, your data menu, and now you're going to click on environmental, hit the little arrow to expand all of your options. We're going to talk about all of these things later. Today, let's just click on the wetland layer. I want your eyes to focus on the ponding area, and you're going to see all the colors pop up. Okay, so let's say this parcel is for sale, or this parcel is for sale. Let's look at it. All right, so we've got another 40-acre piece. It's kind of a long rectangle. We just discussed access. So we've got Highway 7 down here. We have 340th that goes all the way down, which we've already established is, about 30 feet or so. You can see the improved right-of-way is much smaller than the unimproved. So let me just talk through some of the challenges that I see with this property. Obviously, you see this, and now you see the wetland challenge. So this light green area is considered a buffer. It doesn't mean that this is a wetland. What that means, it's an area of concern. AOC. And to build on this property, under our county regulations, if you have an area of concern or a wetland, they want the entire parcel studied to make sure that if you build, you're not building right here in the wetland or in the buffer. They want you to build in the dry land. So this parcel is going to have to be studied, and you can spend anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 for an initial reconnaissance, which is a biologist. They come out, they take a look at your property, give you a high-level view, like we're doing here, a 30,000-foot view, and they could say, "Why? I don't think this is wet. I think you're okay," enough to give you a green light to buy the property. But if you want permits, you're going to need a wetland delineation. And so that's where this wetland is studied, both on site and off your property within a certain number of feet, usually 300 feet. And they flag the wetland because wetlands, they can grow based on climate change. The climate does change. And so wetlands can shrink, areas can dry up, or they can expand. And so they want this wetland to be re-identified. Their mapping could be 20 years old. So this could have completely gone, it could have shrunk or expanded by now. So this has to be restudied. Notice your access point. If they determine that this wetland has grown up over here, it's going to block your access into the property. So this is a critical area to focus on right there. So I just clicked on the layer, so I might as well click on it. And you can see potential wetland review can be triggered by hydric soils, hydro, which is hydrology. So that impacts the wetland area. And obviously this is holding water. This is a depression. It's a low area. So let's turn off environmental for a second and tell you something else I see with this property. This is a big one, obviously. Here's the other issue. 340th is a public right-of-way, so you have direct access. Yes, no easement required, correct. However, you see this stream right here? This stream crosses that road, but you can see that this stream is draining off of this pond, and it's coming down through this land, through this land, through this property's parcel. This may only be a seasonal stream, which is what it probably is. However, the county may have you put this stream into a pipe, culvert. If you're in a situation where there's a lot of water flowing year-round, or it's larger, you may have to build a bridge. Obviously, a bridge is not going to be conducive or feasible, financially feasible to build here. So here's another area of concern that I would have purchasing this property. The neighbor. So you're going to have some obsolescence with noise, sound, hopefully not odors, but if they've got an auto repair, they've got some nuisance going on there. Also, did you see the boat here, right here? So they've put the boat there. Hopefully they're not dumping into the trees. But when you look at the adjacent neighbor property, it looks like they're dumping on their property, which is common. People expand as much as they can until you tell them to stop. You want to make sure that this neighbor is not going to claim adverse possession and claim some of this land, which they may be able to. Looks like there's an old house or barn house that nature might have taken over right here. Interesting, an old building, an old car. So you really don't know if this neighbor is using this land. This looks like a well-beaten path coming down here, maybe. So anyway, areas of concern. However, this is another piece of property that's really not sellable. The landowner needs to use this information to make discovery and fix all of these issues to make it marketable. Or if you're an investor, you could buy this offer or this land for pennies on the dollar. During feasibility, make discovery, talk to this neighbor. Find out what's going on, if they have a claim, if they're cooperative, and you can make investigation with this stream, with the county, if this can be put into a pipe and you can make that road connection. Also, with your feasibility, you'll need to clear these trees to punch a road in, so that's going to be some added cost. But if you fix all these problems, you could take a lot that's worth maybe $80,000 and turn it into $250,000, $300,000. So that's access. I hope you learned a lot. This is really, I geek out over these things. It's exciting to me because I see the potential of this knowledge, how you can fix land and how you can discover problems before buying land. If you're going to build a house, or if you're an investor, you can make bank. And I'm talking millions and millions of dollars with fixing all of these problems. Okay, now let's jump into topography. Counties don't have the terrain map, so you'll have to go to your layers, your data menu, click on contours. Fortunately, we have a terrain map, and I'm going to show you as we zoom in. You're going to see the topography lines or topo lines pop up. There's two types of topo lines colored in our system. You're going to see these dark brown lines, which means that these dark brown lines are separated by 10-foot increments, 670 to 680. You might have to zoom down, scroll down to find it. 680 to 670, that's 10 feet of difference. And then all these little dots are picked up by laser scan. It's called LiDAR. And so if anybody has cleared the land, like, look, someone here has dug a trench to drain this property to create some dry land. They have actually trenched it. You can see the spoils popping up in a uniform line, probably farmland. This person has dug probably a farm trench as well. Let's look at it. Yep, it's farmland. And they're trying to drain their property so they can farm that property. Okay. So what we're looking for is flat land so you can build if you're looking to build. Or you might be looking at a piece of property, looks like a great deal. You turn on the topo layers and it's all sloped, non-buildable. So that's what we're looking at here. So you want to build in an area where these light lines, which are separated in 2-foot increments. So you take 680, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you can tell that they're 2-foot contour lines because there's 5 of them there. So this is a steep slope. Whenever you see lines that are closely together, like over here, that's a steep slope. And you can't really tell by looking at these aerial maps. Look at that. If you saw this on the map, you'd think, oh, okay, great. This looks almost like maybe farmland over here. This is a great building site. It's not. Only a third of the lot is buildable, usually right at the tree lines, and the rest of it falls down a slope and then it might flatten out again. Now also notice opaqueness. So you can really see the density of the topo lines. Now, current building codes is they don't let you build like this. So this is grandfathered in. They already have vested rights to that, to where the house is built. But if you're going to be buying a property and there's a slope, just know that there's going to be a setback from that slope. Setback is determined by a geologist. They do core samples to find out the soil structure and to see how stable the hillside is. If it's rock or if it's sand. Hill slide probability, you're going to have a further setback. You might be way up here based on how unstable or stable the soil is. So that is contours and topography. Same thing. If you're looking to buy and build, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking to invest, this all makes a huge impact on buildability, and contour can also impact access. Let's say you have a lot that's way down here, and this is the building area, or over here. You can't build a road on land that's steep. You might have to zigzag back and forth to make it down there. So I hope those 3 informations helped you guys today. Access, wetlands, and slopes. They're the big ones, and they can make or break your deal. And if you're an investor, it can make you a boatload of cash. I hope you feel as strongly as I do that this is a value bomb. This is big information that you now have access to, and you can put it to use today. All right, guys, that's it. I've dropped 3 giant value bombs on you. I hope you see the potential. I hope you use these tools and either avoid big problems, fix your land so you can make the most money possible from your property, or if you're an investor, you can make big bank fixing problems with land. Back to the video. Okay, so that's it. 3 checks. Once you understand the system, you're going to be able to run these scans in less than 60 seconds, and you're going to know exactly what you're looking for. Access, wetlands, slopes, and you just did it, and you did it for free. And the best part is, now that you have this information, it's yours, and you can use this tool over and over and over again. Evaluate all the property that you have. Evaluate property that you're looking at buying. Evaluate your neighbor's property. Evaluate your parents' property. So there's a wide range of uses with this technology if you're a landowner. Use GIS to find problems before you list your property for sale. Identify them, fix them, maybe even get permits, or at least price the property correctly knowing what you have. I've seen owners turn worthless lots that literally aren't worth any money into $200,000 sales just by addressing a wetland issue. Now, if you're a property buyer, you can use this technology and information before you write that $20,000 earnest money check. Don't rely on the listing agent to tell you in the listing that there's wetlands on the property. They're not going to do that unless they have a report, because they're not an expert, so they can't be giving opinions. And they might not even know about wetlands, what they really are. And if you're a seller or a real estate broker, know your property or listing inside and out. It's going to help you provide the best value for your client or for you if you're the seller. When the buyer inspector or feasibility consultant inspects your property and they find wetlands that you didn't disclose, they think you didn't know about that, which you probably didn't, or otherwise you would have disclosed it, which means you priced it on an assumption that it was worth more. So they're going to discover a problem with your property that you didn't disclose. If you're a broker, your credibility is in question, and your price is definitely going to get renegotiated, and it's not going to go up. It's only going to go down. Now, if you're a home builder, I'm sure you've used this tool before, but if you haven't, you're going to use this to estimate costs before closing. A simple lot might need an $80,000 addition to the site work that you didn't budget for. Homeowners, if you're thinking about buying or selling just a home, just a regular home, not land, check it if your lot qualifies for an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit. It's the hottest and cheapest type of housing that can be built today, an ADU, because you own the land already. It's a free building lot right next door. It's a second dwelling on your property. What's that worth? Well, based on comps in your area, if you're in the Midwest or a lower cost area somewhere, maybe $80,000 to $200,000. But in other areas, it could be worth $250,000, $500,000. Seattle, San Francisco, and other high-cost areas, it could be worth $700,000, $800,000 to build an ADU, which means the lot's probably worth somewhere around a quarter of that value. So if you discovered additional value that you can build an ADU around that house, talk to your real estate broker, tell them what you found. They'll be able to come up with comps or other values to help support the additional opportunity that you've discovered and that you're bringing to the table with your listing. So as you can see, GIS takes a few minutes, and then you can verify all the findings and hold it against zoning to confirm that the zoning code will allow multiple dwellings or changing use or whatever you're trying to do. All right, now that you have the tool and you know the top 3 land killers, go use it. Pull up a property that you're looking at, or maybe you already own it, and run these checks, and then come back and tell me what you found in the comments. And if this video has saved you some money, some time, has given you additional information that you didn't have before, or maybe it's going to help you spot a deal that other people have missed, do me a favor, please. Rate this video on a scale of 1 to 10 in the comments. 1 to 5 if it didn't deliver, and that's fine. If it didn't deliver for you, if you don't feel that this video has brought you value, put it on there. Give me a 1, give me a 5. But if this video on GIS systems provided some value that you didn't have before, then give me a rating of 6 to 10 and tell me why. And be honest, because I'm here not to waste your time or waste my time. I'm here to get better, to provide the best real estate information that I can for you. And so I need to know through your feedback. So let me know. Also, what would you like to know about next with land, with real estate? I've got a whole list of videos that I'm going to be creating on land budgets and hidden cost in real estate, how to read zoning codes, how to hire contractors, and specifically what questions to ask the specific trades and contractors, how to calculate development ROI, return on investment, getting building permits without losing your mind. Tell me which one that you'd like to see first, or if you have other ideas that you'd like to know about. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our videos. I'm posting every Tuesday at 6 a.m. with real strategies from 30 years in the field, no fluff, just what works. Now, go make some money, and I'll see you next week.